Hey, hey, everyone. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if anyone pops on. As you know, well, first of all, I'm glad that you are viewing, that you're watching. And if you're popping on, thank you for joining. I am hosting a 30-day going live based off of my book, the planner, actually, Equitable Grading in STEM, the planner, which is a 30-day transformational planner for educators. And so we are on day 4 of going live, day 4 of the book, and day 4 within the first 10 days is focusing on the first aspect when it comes to equitable grading, which is really focused on whether your grades are reflecting knowledge and growth. And the goal is here is to align your practices with student mastery, learning objectives, and growth. So today is kind of a hot topic. It's extra credit. And part of the reason why it's a hot topic is because I think at some point, most of us, if not all of us as educators, have assigned extra credit assignments. And the thing about that is, I've done some amazing extra credit assignments. I know that the students were engaged, we had a great time. However, when it really came down to it, I had to ask myself the question, what was that extra credit assignment actually measuring? And so I wanted to start with a quote, an Angela Duckworth quote: mastery is not about perfection, but persistence. And so when we only allow students to demonstrate their knowledge, their understanding, their growth on, say, a formative or summative assessment, right, then we're also not giving them the opportunity to show that we're not measuring just that one performance, but that growth is important. And that's where that persistence piece comes in. So the same thing could be said when we assign extra credit assignments that aren't actually measuring the standards that we care about. And yesterday we did talk all about standards alignment, right? So they're not, now we're creating these assignments to replace some of those assessments or improve a grade on an assessment, right? And if it is no longer measuring that standard, but instead measuring something else, let's think about what that message is then that it's potentially sending to people, to our students, to our families, to even our colleagues in the field, right? So here's the reflection prompt that I want you to think about today. And it does offering extra credit actually reflect knowledge, growth, or potentially reflect privilege? Let's talk about that for a minute. So, extra credit has, in some cases, taken the form of being something that's attendance based or optional worksheets, which could potentially unintentionally reward students who may have more free time. Or if it's an extra credit assignment where students have to draw or perform something. And I'm talking about not giving them the option. I'm talking about those assignments where it is a requirement of the extra credit assignment. Because now what you're doing is you're saying, if you are able to perform. So now what if you will have a student that is more introverted, or it may take more time for them to do an assignment like that, right? You're now privileging students who have particular skills over others. So that's only part of the problem, right? The other part of the problem is their ability to draw, say a process doesn't necessarily mean that they are able to explain it or that they have knowledge of that process. So, for example, students being able to, say, draw the particular key functioning parts of the brain, their ability to explain now how those parts may work together in a stimulus or response reaction is very different from their ability to draw it. And so now students may be unintentionally getting grades for their artistic ability as opposed to their content knowledge. And I think the key is being clear. There may be a time and place for you to evaluate both, but you need to be very clear about what are the standards that you value and how are your assessments being reflective of that. Because in the end, when students have grades that are no longer reflective of true knowledge and understanding or growth, it leads to students gaining or not gaining access to certain things. And that's where the inequity happens, right? So this discussion today is really focused on our hashtag fair grades, hashtag growth focused. We want to ensure that our grades are most reflective of what students know and understand. So here is the action that I am going to charge you with. Revise your extra credit policies to align with your equity goals and to align with the standards that you care about. You want to ensure that any assignments, especially those assignments that you are wanting to use as additional ways for students to show what they know, that they reflect that student growth and understanding. Because, as you know, every grade tells a story, so we want to make sure that it is one worth telling. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, please like it and then please share. Please share that the next 30 days we're going to be digging in. And also feel free, if you haven't already grabbed a copy of the planner, you can grab a copy of the planner on the website, which is cdifferentconsulting.com/books, and you will find the planner there. All right. See you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.